Hi everyone, I'm Susan, here for our next Tuesday Shelf Talk. Today I'll be talking about The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. We hold this book in regular print as well as an audiobook through Belinda Borrowbox. It is a fantasy story and it has very much a mythology and fairy tale kind of feel to it. I think the story is quite enticing to a book lover. A young man finds a mysterious book filled with fable-type stories, and it also includes a story about his own childhood. As he attempts to discover the origins of the book, he's drawn into a secret organisation filled with symbols like bees, swords and keys, as well as more books with more stories about real people. And there's a wider quest for him here too. I listened to the audiobook of this story and it was quite long, at more than 18 hours. However, I never felt that the story dragged at all. The audio version has multiple narrators with different people performing the different books found within this story, as well as a narrator for the main plot. I think this is quite an unusual story, and I know for many people the tone, especially of the first part of the book, might put them off. It feels like a fairy tale or a fable, and so it's somewhat formal but also quite dreamlike. And once you've got through that part of the story though, the main action of the book begins, and this continues to be interspersed with these fairy tale-like books throughout. The action itself of the story, it moves in fits and starts. Sometimes there's lots happening all at once, sometimes it just meanders along. The story doesn't really resolve itself either, but as the book itself says, the best stories feel like they keep going after you've finished them. The language here is descriptive and lyrical. It's often very self-aware, going into the mechanics of stories and writing, and thinking about the act of storytelling itself. There are a lot of characters and timelines and different plot threads that interact throughout the book, so it can be confusing if you don't focus. So listening to this as an audiobook does add extra challenges. I found that a few times I had to go back and listen again when I was listening while I was driving because I missed information due to distractions. The setting of the book is partly in modern-day New York in the US, and partly it's in the Starless Sea, a fantastic underground library which can be accessed by hidden doors around the world. This seems to be a story that people either really love or they really dislike. But there's a quote from the book: "Not all stories speak to all listeners, but all listeners can find a book that does, somewhere, sometime, in one form or another," which I think is very much the public library ethos as well. So I think it's worth giving it a try because you might find a new book that you really love. If you enjoy the more fairy tale-like works of people like Isabel Carmody with her Green Monkey Dreams, or Evermore, Diana Wynne-Jones, Philip Pullman, books that are about hidden doors like The 10,000 Doors of January, or stories about stories like The Invisible Library or The Strange Library, then I think this is a good choice. So that's The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next week for another Tuesday Shelf Talk. Bye!